because we had, they were leading the Spanish song, and he's way in the back with the camera. And I got this on video, okay? So if you have Facebook, I'm going to put that on Facebook. And it was a kid. He was in the back. I mean, he was dancing, doing his own. And all those boys, I think they were 10, 11, 12 years old, and watching him. Like, what is he doing? But it was so cute because it took a second and they turned around and they all started doing the same thing he was doing. So it was just awesome. So that's
And then the chicken. Right. And then the chicken.
I'm the chicken.
So, this was my first opportunity to go on a missions trip. My wife has had a couple trips before whenever she was younger. So, I didn't really know what to expect walking in. So I was excited, nervous, and it's all bundled up in one thing, and you don't know how to react really. I guess what struck me is as we're coming into, you're flying into Guatemala, and as you're approaching, it's such a significant difference than what you are when we flew home to Houston, and you can see the towns, and you can see the cities, and you can see the monster buildings, but you're flying into Guatemala, and it's not that. I mean, you see little villages, little small shelters, as you're coming in, and then the people. At the airport, they were just waiting, or sitting there with roses, and just can't wait for people to come in, and they don't let you do that at Lambert, but just to have the opportunity to go down, these services were absolutely amazing, life-changing for me, to go down and be able to interact and show a little goofy self and rock out a little bit with the kids, because they enjoyed it. I don't know. And my wife said I was a bit of a distraction. We had fun with it. But I said, just, I kind of brought up a little bit of this on Wednesday night. A church is not, a church is a place that we have to come to worship. But the church is the people. Amen. So, to go in to their little metal walled church in the middle of a mountain, up the hill that nobody could probably get to, that we had probably no business trying to get our vehicles up to. That's church for them, and for them to welcome us and to love on us when we thought like I said, as others have spoke, but we thought we were loving on them. It's so much more. They just couldn't wait to see us. They come hours walking up hills, dirt roads, and kids in tow coming up to see us, and you're like, and we struggle to get here some days, because we put other things first. It was just amazing that the love that they shared, that they wanted us to experience so much of their culture. Even the little old ladies, they would take us back to the back behind their little metal church, and they'd show us where they're making fruit punch in a pot over a campfire for the kids. And then they took us back into the backwoods, and they showed us avocados growing, and they showed us coffee beans on the vine, and they just wanted us to experience their culture for just a little bit, and it was absolutely amazing. So, but the kids in general are just, when we pulled into that first town, and you can see the kids looking, and they're glancing, and they're checking us out a little bit. They're like, what are these gringos doing on my road? But we pull up, and we start setting up, and they just come, and they come, and they continue to come. And they packed the little alleyway just to hear Jesus, just to have an experience with him, and when that's what struck me too, up in the mountains, is they continued. Thank God for Jason, wherever Jason's at, I don't see him, but I was standing at the very back of that little church, their little metal building church, and I'm this close to the to the top of their stairs. And then I took one step back further. And I thought I was going to die. But he caught me, thank goodness. But it was, every time you turn around, there's more people coming up the stairs, you know, because they walked forever to get there. Like I said, just to experience us. And I've been to those church services, like they had said before about the missionaries, and you feel, you can see their heart in it. But it was kind of crazy for me to see it flipped. You know, because we're the missionaries to them. It's like, whoa, this is weird. I mean, it's kind of crazy that God sent us to help them, to serve them, you know, and that just doesn't, you know, it's just kind of mind-blowing for me to have that experience. I will speak a little bit for my wife. She's an animal lover. The little dogs, there's probably thousands of dogs that we've seen in these towns down there, emaciated, skin, bone, laying on the sides of the road, and she loves animals to death. That's her heart. We have a little spoiled, rotten little dog that's, you know, chunkier than what she should be. And to see and hear these dogs barking and howling, and it crushed her. It moved her heart, you know, she's just like, I can't handle it. So it got to where we would go to restaurants and she'd keep the leftovers. And so then, her idea was, hey, if we see these little dogs out, we're gonna throw chicken to them to, you know, so they have something to eat. Well, I kind of took it to an extreme, just because that's how I roll, a little bit. So we're in the back seat of the van, and I got the window cranked open, and I'm trying not to die because I was laughing so hard. But I have this leftover chicken hanging out the window, cruising down the street, and we're looking for dogs, for perros. Perros, as I would say. Well, I'm calling for them, and they're not coming, unfortunately. But there was a couple guys that I thought were going to take my chicken, and I really hope they would, because they'd have to take me to the hospital, because I was going to laugh too hard. It was going to fall out in the van. But it was just an awesome experience, because to get to love on those kiddos, to get to love on those stray pups, and they just change your mindset. They change your way of thinking. Because, you know, I said, just the amount of waste, the amount of trash, and the amount of stuff. When those kiddos were coming out and they had Ziploc bags, little baggies, clean water, and the amount of waste that we throw our water bottles away, 3/4 of the way full, halfway full, we throw away. These kiddos are getting a baggie of water, and they're like, every one of them, they pop off the little corner, and that's how they would drink. And for, you know, it's just a different society. It's night and day. So I pray that we don't leave Guatemala there. And I pray that it's in our hearts, obviously, that it comes back with us, and it changes those around us that we can affect. You say, hey, let's not do this anymore. Or let's change how we do this. Or do we think we actually need the stuff that we have as much as we need it? Is it a need or is it a want, you know? So I said, God sent us, and I'm so glad that He gave us that opportunity, because it was amazing, life-changing experience for me and my wife, and I can't wait till next year, because I'm bringing my scoundrel teenagers so they can get wrecked as well. So, because that's how we do. Thank you very much.